1966, Newport Folk Festival. Bob Dylan picks up an electric guitar, plugs it in, turns up the amp. The crowd boos, screams, shouts insults. Traitor. Judas. You've killed folk music. Dylan doesn't care. He plays louder, harder, angrier. This is the moment Bob Dylan declares war on acoustic purists. The moment he says, electric guitar is the future. But 1 year later, someone else picks up an electric guitar. Someone who makes Dylan look like a beginner. Someone who takes Dylan's electric revolution and destroys it, rebuilds it, transcends it completely. That someone is Jimi Hendrix. And when Dylan sees what Jimi does with an electric guitar, he's left speechless. This is the story of how Bob Dylan mocked electric guitar players, how he thought he was the revolutionary, and how Jimi Hendrix humiliated him by showing what electric guitar could really do. Let's go back. Before Jimi, before the revolution, 1965, Bob Dylan is the king of folk music, blowing in the wind. The times they are I-changing, voice of a generation, protest songs, acoustic guitar, harmonica. Folk purists love him. He's one of them. Pure, authentic, no electric bullshit, no rock and roll corruption. But Dylan is bored that he's listening to the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, Chuck Berry, Little Richard. He's thinking, why am I stuck playing acoustic? Why can't folk music rock? March 1965. Dylan releases Bringing It All Back Home. Side A, electric rock. Side B, acoustic folk. The folk community is confused. Is Dylan abandoning us? Then July 20th, 1965, Like a Rolling Stone drops. Full electric, full band, Fender Stratocaster, distortion, power. Folk purists are furious. This isn't music. Dylan sold out. He's destroying everything we built. But Dylan doesn't care. He's on a mission. July 25th, 1965. Newport Folk Festival, Rhode Island. The moment of truth. 15,000 people gathered. Folk music royalty in the audience. Pete Seeger, Joan Baez, Peter, Paul, and Mary. All expecting Dylan to deliver acoustic folk, protest songs. The voice of a generation doing what he does best. Instead, Dylan walks out with the Paul Butterfield Blues Band behind him. Electric guitars, drums, bass, full amplification. Marshall stacks. The crowd murmurs. Confused, concerned. Dylan picks up a Fender Stratocaster. Sunburst finish. Plugs it directly into a screaming amplifier. Sound check. Loud. Distorted. Aggressive. Pete Seeger backstage, watching in horror. This isn't what Newport is about. This isn't folk. Dylan counts off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crash. The band launches into Maggie's Farm. Loud. So loud the PA system distorts. So loud you can barely hear Dylan's vocals. Aggressive. Drums pounding. Bass thumping. Guitar feedback screaming. The crowd doesn't know how to react. Some are shocked. Some are angry. Some are intrigued. Then the booing starts. Not polite disapproval. Rage. Traitor. Sellout. Judas. You've killed folk music. People shouting. Some throwing things. Programs. Bottles. Whatever they can grab. Pete Seeger, according to legend, is so angry he wants to cut the power cables with an axe. Stop this electric abomination. Festival organizers are panicking. This is a disaster. Dylan keeps playing. Harder. Louder. More aggressive. Second song. Like a Rolling Stone. His new hit single. Electric. Full band. Powerful. More booing. More shouting. The folk community is outraged. Third song. Phantom Engineer, later called It Takes a Lot to Laugh. It Takes a Train to Cry. Dylan's face. Defiant. Angry. Determined that he's proving a point. Electric guitar is the future. The folk purists are wrong. 3 songs. 17 minutes. Then Dylan walks off. The booing continues, mixed with some applause, but mostly anger. Pete Yarrow, master of ceremonies, rushes on stage. Begs Dylan to return. Please, come back. Play something acoustic. Dylan returns. Acoustic guitar this time. No band. But he doesn't apologize. He plays It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. A message. Clear. Direct. To everyone booing. Your time is over. Your acoustic folk purity is dead. Electric is the future, and I just proved it. Interviews after Newport. Dylan is cocky. Reporter, why did you go electric? Dylan, because acoustic guitar is limiting. Electric guitar has power. It's the evolution of music. Reporter, what about the folk purists who say you betrayed them? Dylan, they don't understand. They're stuck in the past. I'm creating the future. Another interview, December 1965. The booing at Newport? I expected it. I did something crazy. But they booed because they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle the truth. Electric guitar is superior. Dylan thinks he's the prophet, the revolutionary. The one who proved electric guitar is the future. He thinks no one can touch what he's doing. He's wrong. June 18, 1967. Monterey Pop Festival. Monterey County Fairgrounds, California. A new artist is about to take the stage. Almost completely unknown in America. Some buzz from England. Word of mouth spreading fast. His name, Jimi Hendrix. Bob Dylan isn't at Monterey. He's recovering from his motorcycle accident in Woodstock, New York. But the music industry is watching Monterey. Critics, musicians, record executives, journalists. Brian Jones of the Rolling Stones introduces Jimi on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, from England, the Jimi Hendrix experience. Jimi walks out. The crowd doesn't know what to expect. Wild afro. Huge. Like an explosion of hair. Psychedelic military jacket. Ruffled shirt. Bell-bottom pants. White Fender Stratocaster. Left-handed. Flipped upside down. He looks like he's from another planet. Jimi plugs in. Adjusts his amp Marshall stack cranked to maximum. Then he starts playing. And what happens next changes music history forever. Opening riff. Killing floor. Howlin' Wolf blues. But Jimi's version is transformed. Not just playing the notes. Attacking them. Bending them. Making the guitar scream. The crowd leans forward. What I ask this? Jimi plays behind his back. Casual. Like it's easy. Then with his teeth. Biting the strings. Notes still perfect. Tones still pure. The audience is mesmerized. Jaws literally dropped. Backstage, Pete Townshend of The Who is watching. His band just performed. Smashed their instruments. Thought they were revolutionary. Now Pete is thinking, we're nothing compared to this. Jimi plays Foxy Lady. That opening riff. Iconic. Sexual. Aggressive. Feedback controlled like melody. Not noise. Music. Wah-wah pedal bending reality. Creating sounds nobody has heard before. Then Hey Joe. Slow blues. Soulful. Jimi singing with emotion. Guitar crying. Literally crying. The crowd is completely silent. Transfixed. This isn't a performance. This is a religious experience. Eric Burden of The Animals, watching from the side. This is the future of music. Chas Chandler, Jimi's manager, formerly of The Animals, I told you. He's going to change everything. Then Jimi plays Wild Thing. Standard rock song. The Trogs made it famous. Simple. 3 chords. But Jimi doesn't play it simple. He destroys it. Rebuilds it. Makes it transcendent. Mid-song, Jimi kneels down. Places his guitar on the stage floor. Pulls out a tube of lighter fluid from behind his amplifier. Pre-planted, the crowd gasps. What is he doing? Jimi pours lighter fluid over his guitar. Douses it. Soaks the wood. Then pulls out a match. Strikes it. Ignites the guitar. Flames erupt. White Stratocaster burning. Fire spreading across the body. The audience screams. Not with terror. With shock. Amazement. Jimi picks up the burning guitar. Waves it in the air. Playing through the flames. The guitar howling. Feedback screaming. Fire crackling. Then Jimi smashes it into the stage. Once. Twice. 3 times. Wood splintering. Pieces flying. Flames everywhere. He throws the burning, destroyed pieces into the audience. People scrambling to catch them. Souvenirs from a historic moment. Jimi walks off stage. No encore. No goodbye. Just gone. The crowd sits in stunned silence. Then explodes. Applause. Screaming. Cheering. Standing ovation that lasts minutes. Backstage, musicians are in shock. Pete Townshend. How do we follow that? We can't. Nobody can. Janis Joplin. That was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Brian Jones. Rock and roll just changed forever. This isn't just a performance. This isn't just electric guitar. This is art. This is revolution. This is Jimi Hendrix announcing to the world. Everything you thought you knew about electric guitar? Forget it. I'm rewriting the rules. Word spreads fast. There's a guitarist who makes everyone else look like amateurs. He's doing things with electric guitar that shouldn't be possible. Dylan went electric? Wait until you see Jimi Hendrix. Music critics start comparing. Dylan's electric guitar work is competent. Jimi Hendrix is transcendent. Dylan showed us electric guitar could be folk. Jimi showed us electric guitar could be everything. Eric Clapton, after seeing Jimi at a London club in 1966, he played just about every style you could think of, and not in a flashy way. My life was never the same again. Pete Townshend of The Who, after Monterey. We thought we were hot shit. Then Jimi came on. We realized we were nothing. Jeff Beck. Jimi swept us all aside and put us in a bin. He was from another planet. Every guitarist in the world is talking about Jimi Hendrix, except one. The one who thought he was the electric guitar revolutionary, Bob Dylan. August 1967. Dylan is in Woodstock, New York, recovering from a motorcycle accident. His manager brings him the new album, Are You Experienced? Jimi Hendrix. May 1967 release. Already a massive hit in England, Dylan puts it on. Purple Haze starts playing, distortion, feedback, wah, backwards guitar, psychedelic swirls, Dylan listens. Silent, track 2, manic depression, complex rhythm, jazz influence, rock power. Track 3, Hey Joe, the song Dylan has played before, but Jimi's version is different. Slower, heavier, more soulful. Dylan gets to Foxy Lady. That opening riff. Iconic, powerful, sexual, aggressive. Then Are You Experienced? Backwards guitar, phasing, studio effects Dylan has never imagined. The album ends. Dylan sits in silence. His manager asks, "What do you think?" Dylan, quietly, "He's doing things I didn't know were possible." September 1967. Dylan is in the studio working on new music, but something has changed. He's not as confident about electric guitar anymore, that he experiments. Tries new techniques. But nothing sounds like Jimi. His guitarist asks, "Should we try feedback? Like Hendrix?" Dylan snaps, "We're not trying to be Hendrix. We're doing our own thing." But privately, Dylan knows. He knows Jimi has taken electric guitar to a level he never imagined. All that talk about being the electric revolutionary. Jimi made it look quaint. 1968. Electric Ladyland drops. Jimi's third album. Critics call it the greatest guitar album ever made. Voodoo Child, slight return. All Along the Watchtower. Crosstown Traffic. Every track a masterclass. Every solo redefining what's possible. Dylan hears All Along the Watchtower. His song. He wrote it. Released it on John Wesley Harding in 1967. But Jimi's version? Transforms it. Dylan's version. Acoustic. Minimal. Folk. Jimi's version. Electric. Explosive. Definitive. And here's the crushing part. Jimi's version becomes the version. The one everyone remembers. Dylan himself later admits, "I prefer Jimi's version. He took it somewhere I couldn't." Think about that. Bob Dylan, the songwriter, admits the electric guitarist did it better. That's humiliation. August 1969. Woodstock Festival, not Woodstock, New York, where Dylan lives. Woodstock, the festival. Bethel, New York. Dylan is invited. Refuses to perform. Why? Some say he didn't want to be part of the hippie spectacle. But others say he didn't want to follow Jimi Hendrix. Because Jimi is closing the festival. Monday morning, August 18. And what Jimi plays becomes legendary. The Star-Spangled Banner. Distorted. Feedback-drenched. Sounds of bombs. Screams. War. Chaos. A guitar solo that captures the horror of Vietnam. The rage of a generation. Critics call it the greatest electric guitar performance in history. Bob Dylan watches the footage later. Knows he could never do that. He went electric to make a statement. Jimi went electric to change reality. Private conversation. Late 1969. Dylan with a journalist. Journalist, "You revolutionized folk music by going electric." Dylan pauses. "Then, I plugged in a guitar. That's not revolution. Revolution is what Jimi Hendrix did. He showed what electric guitar could be. I just played louder." Journalist, surprised. "Are you saying Hendrix is better?" Dylan, "I'm saying Hendrix is in a different category. What he does, it's not just guitar. It's alchemy." This conversation never made it to print. The journalist saved it in his notes. Published decades later, but it reveals the truth. Dylan knows. He knows Jimi humiliated his electric revolution. September 18, 1970. Jimi Hendrix dies. Age 27. Dylan hears the news. Silent for hours. Finally, he says to a friend. The guitar just lost its greatest voice. Friend, what about Clapton, Beck, Page, Dylan? They're incredible. But Jimi was transcendent. He was doing things that won't be matched for generations. Dylan writes a tribute song, never releases it. Too personal, too painful, because it's not just grief. It's regret. Regret that he spent 1965 to 1966 thinking he was the electric guitar revolutionary. Regret that he mocked the folk purists for not understanding electric guitar, when the truth is, he didn't understand electric guitar. Not until Jimi showed him point 1975. Dylan is asked about his Newport performance. The booing. The controversy. Dylan, I thought I was making a statement. Thought I was pushing boundaries. Interviewer, you were. Dylan, no. I was just turning up the volume. Jimi Hendrix pushed boundaries. He took the electric guitar to places no one imagined. I just made some people angry. Interviewer, but you started the electric revolution in folk. Dylan, I started a trend. Jimi created a universe. 1987. Dylan is interviewed by Rolling Stone. Topic, Jimi Hendrix. What did he mean to music? Dylan, Jimi showed us the electric guitar isn't just an instrument. It's a portal to emotion, to dimensions, to truth. When I went electric, people called me a traitor. When Jimi went electric, people called him a god. That's the difference. I betrayed folk music. Jimi transcended music. Think about this. Bob Dylan went electric at Newport. Thought he was revolutionary. Thought he proved electric guitar was the future. 1 year later, Jimi Hendrix picks up an electric guitar and shows Dylan what revolutionary actually means. Dylan's electric revolution. Jimi made it look like a warm-up act. Dylan's feedback experiments. Jimi made them sound like accidents. Dylan's pushing boundaries. Jimi erased the boundaries, the ultimate humiliation. Dylan wrote, All Along the Watchtower. Jimi made it legendary. Dylan's own song. And Jimi's version is the one that matters. Even Dylan admits it. That's not just being outdone. That's being eclipsed. Bob Dylan, 2004. Chronicles, Volume 1. Writing about the 1960s. About going electric. About the controversy. 1 paragraph stands out. I thought I was bold for picking up an electric guitar. Then I heard Jimi Hendrix. And I realized I'd been playing it safe. Jimi didn't care about safe. He cared about truth. And truth sounds like lightning. Bob Dylan in 1965. Electric guitar is the future. I'm proving it. Jimi Hendrix in 1967. Hold my Stratocaster. And just like that, Dylan's revolution became a footnote. Jimi didn't just play electric guitar better than Dylan. He played it better than anyone. Past, present, future. The lesson, you can claim to be revolutionary. You can mock the traditionalists. You can plug in and turn up the volume. But revolution isn't about being loud, it's about being transcendent. Bob Dylan was loud. Jimi Hendrix was transcendent, and that's why, even today, when people talk about the greatest electric guitarist ever, there's only one name, Jimi Hendrix, not Bob Dylan. Never Bob Dylan. Jimi showed us what electric guitar could be. And Dylan? He just watched. Speechless.